What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the best builds to help you defeat the upcoming 7-star Mightiest Mark Salamence raid for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that is slated to start 8 p.m. Eastern on April 17th, and then it's going to be coming back the next weekend as well. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Of course, support the channel by joining PanFam by hitting that join channel member button below. Now here's my raid predictions for the Salamence raid. Of course, we don't know the exact move set, but these are the moves that I'm preparing for and for the general situation. So one, we know it's Terra Flying. We know it's gonna be a level 100. We don't know if it's gonna be times 30 or 35, but something to take note that the past Dragonite raid and Tranitar 7-star raids did not have their hidden ability. So I do think that is a pattern for the pseudo legendaries. So I do think the ability is going to be Intimidate for the Salamence and not Moxie. Now they can always change it and they could make it Moxie, and Moxie will be very problematic and that will make it a very hard raid as we saw with the Quaquaval raid. So if it does have Moxie, you're going to have to change it up a little bit. However, I do have raid builds that are prepared for Moxie in this video, just in case. Now we know it's going to be a physical attacker because look at that 135 physical attack stat, but it does have 110 special attack, so it will be dropping Dracos most likely or any sort of special moves, and it will definitely hurt us for sure. 100 speed, so it's going to be a very fast Pokemon, and good defenses overall, 95 HP and 80 defense and special defense. So once again, pseudo legendaries definitely going to be a Pokemon we're going to have to respect here. Now the move set I think is going to have is a physical dragon type move. Either it's going to be Dragon Claw most likely, but I also could have Breaking Swipe to lower the physical attack stat of our physical attackers. And I do think there is a good chance it could turn 0 Draco Meteor on us and then clear its debuffs. Definitely a good chance of that occurring at some point in the raid. Now, it is Terra Flying. It's going to have a flying type move. It naturally learns Dual Wing Beat on level up. So I do think this is going to be the move it's going to use against us. But it could also use Aerial Ace. Now, Dual Wing Beat is definitely a scary move because it can miss. It's 90% accurate, but it does hit twice. But does have 2 chances of critting us, which is definitely problematic. And then good coverage moves. It learns Crunch naturally. Iron Head is going to be a very strong move to deal with rock types and fairy types. Flamethrower, it learns naturally, and that can definitely help with dealing with any sort of steel types. And then Earthquake is probably the scariest move it learns via TM. It's going to be able to beat the electric types, and it can beat the rock types because, you know, it's a flying type, so it's going to be weak to ice, electric, and rock. And those are what we're going to build around in this video. Now, for support moves, Dragon Dance, I think, is an obvious. Boosted speed, boosted attack. So, essentially, it's just going to do more damage against us. And Focus Energy, we saw a Tranitar. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it again here, honestly. But it also does learn Iron Defense, but I'm not really leaning towards that side of things here. Now, I'm going to be breaking down this guide into different types for the best Pokemon to defeat the upcoming Salamence raid boss. Now, Electric beats Flying, and you resist Flying. So let's start with Electric type Pokemon. And I think Electros actually might be the single best Pokemon to use in this raid, whether for online or for solo played. And Electros is awesome because you're going to go Shell Bell with Terra Electric, and your one weakness is going to be Ground. However, you have the ability to Levitate, so you're going to be immune to Earthquake from Salamence. So essentially, you have no weakness in this raid, which is really nice. Now, this one is built max special attack, max HP with a modest nature. You can go max defense instead of HP if you would like to. We just don't know if the Salamence is going to be a mixed attacker, so you could wait to do your EVs until the raid is actually out this week. Now, what I like about this Pokemon a lot is you do have Gastro Acid. So if for some reason it does have Moxie instead of Intimidate, they want to troll us at Game Freak. Well, hey, turn 1 Gastro Acid, no more Moxie for the rest of the raid. You're good to go. Then after that point, you can spam Lunge. Now, Lunge will lower the attack stat by 1, and will build our Terra Charge Orb. And then when you're ready to start popping off and doing big damage, you'll want to hit Acid Spray 3 times, and Acid Spray will lower that special defense through shields as well. And then you can just spam Terra Electric Charge Beam. And Charge Beam has a 50% chance of increasing your special attack stat by 1. It is stab super effective. Now, if you don't like Charge Beam, you could go for a safer move like Thunderbolt. Now, Thunderbolt is a great move, and it doesn't miss. So that's going to be up to you. I like Charge Beam, but I think Thunderbolt is also a great move in this spot too. Now, the second Pokemon we're going to recommend is also Electros. Who would have thought? Electros, but a physical variant of it with the item Shell Bell. And this one I have max attack, max defense with an adamant nature. Once again, Levitate. And the difference with this one is we're going to go Thunder Punch and Coil. You still want Lunge and you still want Gas or Acid just in case, but Thunder Punch and Coil is going to be great. Now, Thunder Punch, you will be doing a little bit less damage, but you do have a naturally higher physical attack stat on Electros, so that works out. And we do have Coil. Now, Coil will boost your attack and defense and your accuracy. We don't really need accuracy in this raid, but attack and defense, essentially, it's going to be bulk up. So we're going to be able to survive the raid a little bit longer and do more damage, which is really nice. But however, this does not build up Terra Charge, so just keep that in mind, the big difference between this and Acid Spray. But I think both builds are going to be very viable. It just depends on what the Salamance's spread is going to be for its move set. Now, outside of the Eels, another great option is going to be Belly Bolt, Terra Electric, and I have the item Metronome on it. Its ability is great. Whenever it gets hit by a move, its next electric type move it uses will be doing more damage. Mine is a max special attack, max defense with a modest nature. And I think this Pokemon's great because you can lower the special defense with Acid Spray. You can lower the physical attack with Chilling Water. Both of these build up your Terra Charge as well and work through shields. You can increase your defense with Reflect. If it is more of a special attacker, you have Light Screen as another option. And Parabolic Charge will be doing stab, super effective Terra boosted damage, and it gives you back your HP. So this is going to be a really strong move, especially with the item Metronome. The more uses in a row, the more this is going to do more damage, and the more HP you get back. So I think this Pokemon is going to be really great. However, if it does have Earthquake, that can definitely be a problem. That's what would stop Belly Bolt. Now, speaking about Pokemon that can absolutely lose to Earthquake, Iron Thorns is 4 times weak to Earthquake. However, let's say for some reason there is no Earthquake on this Salamence, then Iron Thorns is actually going to be a pretty good option because you quad resist flying, which is really cool. And you do have stab super effective options with both rock and electric type moves. But I think electric is a little bit safer because rock type moves are inaccurate and electric type moves are much more accurate. So we're going to go Terra Electric and the item Shell Bell. And mine is max attack, max defense with an adamant nature. Now you have a massive attack stat and a really good defense and HP stat on this Pokemon. What I like about this Pokemon a lot is you have Breaking Swipe, so you can lower that attack stat. It's very similar to Chilling Water. You have Swords Dance to increase your damage, and Thunder Punch to do stab, Terra boosted, super effective damage. And you also have Taunt, and I really like Taunt in this raid because I'm assuming there is going to be at some point a Dragon Dance. And if you can time your Taunt right before the Dragon Dance happens, you can prevent the setup from happening in general, and that's going to save you a lot of headache, which was really great in the last raid where we fought Tyranitar. Now, our last electric option is going to be Terra Electric, Electric Plate, Arceus. And this is just your standard Arceus. Max HP, max special attack with a modest nature. And your standard Arceus build. You have Chilling Water, lower that attack stat. Acid Spray to go through shields and lower that special defense. If you need to use Recover to get your HP back because you have no Shell Bell, you're going to use Recover. And then it'll be Stab, Terra boosted, Judgment going into the Salamence. And you'll be doing massive amount of damage. This will probably clear. Maybe it could have a little bit of trouble in a solo, but I think in general, this build will probably clear. Now for our rock options. Rock is pretty good because you do super effective damage to flying and you resist flying as well. You do have more weaknesses than electric and you are still weak to ground. So it is a bit of a trade-off, but I think Tyranitar is actually a pretty good option. We're going to have the Terra Rock and the item Shell Bell. Your ability is going to be Sandstream. So you do have a 50% increase to your special defense when the sand is up, which can be really helpful in the beginning if he drops a turn 0 Draco Meteor. And we're going to have max attack, max defense with an adamant nature. Now, what I like about Tyranitar is you do have Breaking Swipe access. So you can start the raid by hitting Breaking Swipes. And your only good setup move is going to be Dragon Dance. You don't have Swords Dance. You don't have Bulk Up. But Dragon Dance is actually not awful because you can eventually outspeed the Salamence. And you do have another setup with Iron Defense. Now, you could replace Iron Defense with something like a Taunt if you know when the Dragon Dance off from the Salamence is going to happen. Taunt could be a lot better here in general, so keep that in mind when the raid comes out. And our main damage move is going to be something like a Rock Slide. Now, Rock Slide is not as good as Stone Edge, but, you know, more accurate. And I think more accuracy is going to be more important in this raid, but that's up for you. Maybe you want to replace Rock Slide with Stone Edge, go for it. If you're more comfortable with that, then go for it in general. Just, you know, keep in mind that rock type moves are not that accurate, which is the only problem with them. Next up is Rhyperior with the Terra Rock and the Shell Bell. And you want to have the ability Solid Rock. It reduces the damage you take from super effective hits. So if there is Earthquake from the Salamence or Iron Head, well, you can take that a lot better. I'm going max attack and max HP. The reason why I'm going HP over defense here is because our special defense set is really bad. And I know it's going to have some sort of Draco meteor or some sort of special attack move that I want to take a lot better than normal. And yeah, your attack set's crazy. And of course, the adamant nature. Now, this build is very similar to the Tyranitar. You can actually do the exact same build as the Tyranitar for the most part. You can just remove the Stone Edge for an Iron Defense. But in general, you can set up, but you have Swords Dance here, which is much better than Dragon Dance. It's going to be slower for sure. However, you're going to be able to buff up quicker, which I do think Rhyperior is maybe a little bit better than Tyranitar in that regard. But Swords Dance is going to be great. Breaking Swipe to start off the raid to lower the attack stat, give you that Terra Charge. Rock Slide will probably be your main damage move unless you want to use Stone Edge or you want to use both, up to you. And you can also have Iron Defense here instead of one of these moves as well. So pretty good Pokemon in general for this raid, but like I said, not the most accurate moves on Rock-type Pokemon. Now, the most interesting Rock-type build is Diancie. Now, some negatives, 4 times weak to Steel, so if you get hit by an Iron Head, you're cooked. Still going to be weak to Ground. However, you are now immune to Dragon and you resist Flying, so if it doesn't have a Steel move, then this is a decent option at the very least. And we're going to go Terra Rock with the Shell Bell. Now, I got max special attack, modest nature with max HP. The reason why I focus on HP is because your special defense and defense stats are already amazing with a base 150, and you have the ability to clear body. Now, we're going to be going for a Power Gem build with Calm Mind to boost our special attack stat. Unfortunately, we don't have a nasty plot, but Calm Mind will work. Iron Defense to boost our defense, just giving us a little bit more bulk on the physical side. And we have Fake Tears to make it so Power Gem will hit a little bit harder. Does not work through shields, but will work in the beginning of the raid. Now, you could replace Iron Defense with its Diamond Storm move. However, it's a physical move, and it's only a 50% chance of increasing your defense by 2. So I would rather not have a percentage on my defense boosting move. We do have one Ice type that I would recommend because Ice does not resist Flying, but it is super effective. And I think Calyrax will be a good option, the Ice Rider version with the Terra Ice and the Shell Bell. Now, we don't really have any big weaknesses outside of Fire here or Dark, so I think in general, we'll be fine. And I'm going max HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature. And if you really want to use this Pokemon, Swords Dance is the way to go. Glacial Lance will be doing so much damage. The only downside is you do have 8 PP on it, which is not the best. So I sort of think you got to bring Avalanche. Now, Avalanche will be doing the same amount of damage as Glacial Lance because you will never be outspeeding this Salamence, so that's actually sort of nice. I like Hunt on this Pokemon because you don't want Dragon Dances to get set up. Now, you could go for another move like an Iron Defense if you want to remove the Avalanche, or you want to remove Glacial Lance. You have some different options. You can also put Reflect on this Pokemon. I think this Pokemon's going to be pretty strong overall. Maybe not the best solo choice, but I think in online raids, I think Calyrax can do it. Now, for the best support Pokemon to help defeat the Salamence in an online raid, I think Alcremie is a pretty good option with the Shell Bell. Fairy is going to be your type here because you want to be immune to Dragon. And max HP, max defense with a bold nature is pretty good. And Decorate to boost your main attackers, to boost your attack and special attack by 2. Fake Tears lower that special defense. Acid Armor increase your defense by 2, and Draining Kiss to give you some HP sustain and some damage in general. I think Alcremie will be a solid option, but unfortunately does not resist Flying. The Fairy with the item Eviolite is really nice. It's going to give you a lot of bulk for your defense and special defense, and your ability is Friend Guard, so it's going to reduce all the damage your allies take on the field. Max HP, max defense with a bold nature. What I like about this Pokemon a lot is you have Chilling Water, so you can just lower that physical attack stat the entire time. You can lower the special defense with Fake Tears, Life Dew to heal everyone on the field, which is going to be nice, and Draining Kiss to do some damage and get some HP back yourself. Another decent option is going to be Umbreon. Now, Umbreon just has incredible bulk with the Shell Bell, max HP, max defense with a plus defense nature, and you know, there's so many different moves. There's too many moves to really put on it, but I think Fake Tears is good to lower that special defense. Snarl will be your damage move, but also lower the special attack stat if the Salamence does have any special attacking moves. Reflect or Light Screen, depending on how the raid goes, but I think Reflect is better in this case. And then you have Taunt too. Other good moves you can put on here is going to be like Helping Hand, which is going to be really nice too. You have Charm as well to lower the attack before shields go up. So pretty decent Pokemon overall. Another interesting Pokemon is going to be Alolan Ninetales. Now, I'll say if it has a like Iron Head, this Pokemon's not going to work well, but you will have stab super effective ice moves as well. They're going to be immune to dragons, so that's pretty cool too. And we're going to have the item Shell Bell. Now, what I like about this Pokemon is you have some decent bulk because max HP with max defense with modest nature, but you're going to set up the snow with your ability, and you're going to set up a Roar Veil. A Roar Veil is going to last for 5 turns, and it's going to make it so that Light Screen and Reflect Up are at the same time as long as the snow is up. So pretty much you're going to set this up on turn 1, and then after that, you can use Fake Tear spam in the beginning. You can replace Fake Tears with something like Chilling Water, and you do have Never Miss Blizzard in the snow for your damage move, so a little bit more of a DPS output, especially because we have that modest nature. And when the snow goes away, you want to put up the Snowscape and then Aurora Veil again. Now you could change your item to an Icy Rock to make it last a couple more turns, but you won't have any HP recovery. You will be relying on Heal Shear. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can do Alolan Ninetales, but I do think it's something to really consider. If you don't want any damage at all, you can replace Blizzard and put Chilling Water as well, or replace Fake Tears and put Chilling Water too. That's going to be up to you. Now, we do have our last supporter, which is going to be the Galarian Weezing. And I like it because, you know, the fairy typing's good, immune to the dragon, which is nice. I have Terra Steel on here just to resist both the dragon and the flying type moves that you may be facing. I think Terra Steel is actually a pretty good Terra in general for any of the supporters. Or have the ability to Levitate, so you are going to be immune to any sort of ground moves, which is really nice. Max HP, max defense with a bold nature. And I think a pretty decent build is Acid Spray, lower that special defense, Clear Smog to remove any buffs. If he sets up a lot of Dragon Dances or something like that, you can handle it. Taunt before any of the Dragon Dances go up. And then to at least do some super effective damage, you have Thunderbolt. And honestly, it'll be pretty decent DPS output in general. But there we have it, guys. Those are going to be the best support builds and just the best builds in general for this raid. Of course, guys, I may have missed something, so let me know in the comment section below what builds you think we should be using for this raid as well, or if you like any of my builds, which one will you be using from my raid selection. Of course, don't forget, we will be doing this raid live this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so be there to watch me test out the solo builds and some other builds as well. And we might have a one-hit KO video coming too, so definitely check out that video too. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Support the channel by becoming a PanFam member by hitting that join channel member button below. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.